Hello everyone, you are all welcome to lecture number 1023, and today's topic is the dehydration can lead to serious complication of health problem, and the water content of our body is very important, and I can say that water is a medicine and dehydration is the mother of all complications. So first I will tell you about the water. You know, human being, we are not solid, we are not liquid, we are fluid with lot of electrolytes like sodium, potassium, other ions floating in the water. Your blood is water mixture with protein molecules, fat molecules. So water is playing very important role everywhere in our body. And if I say water, the formula is H2O and its structure is like this. If I say O and H, that is H2O, and two lone pair of electrons are sitting. And this water, it is very interesting to note that why water is liquid at room temperature. And if I say room temperature, I take the range from 25 degrees centigrade to 40 degrees centigrade, because in Maiduguri or Nigeria north, we have 40 degrees centigrade. In Indian cities, in most of the places, the room temperature is 25. And at this room temperature, water is liquid. So, and most of the other things are not liquid at room temperature. And that makes this earth to get living organisms. Because living organisms started from sea, from ocean, from water. So water is the fundamental of life. Life started with water. If water would have not been in liquid form, there would have not been any chance of living organisms on this planet. And the water is, why liquid at room temperature? Because water is like this, O, H, and then dotted line H, O, H. These two molecules of water, H2O, one molecule of this and other molecule of this, they join together with one dotted line bonding, that is called hydrogen bonding. Bonding. And hydrogen bonding definition is that when the bonding takes place between two most electronegative atoms. So the most electronegative atom here is oxygen and the most electropositive atom is hydrogen. And these two, that is hydrogen bonding, and there is bonding between most electronegative and most electropositive, that is hydrogen bonding. And because of presence of hydrogen bonding, water is liquid at room temperature. If there would have not been hydrogen bonding in water, water would have been solid, not liquid. Water is solid only in abnormal condition, means if the temperature is zero, below zero, it is solid, ice. If temperature is more than 99 or 100, boiling point, water is in gaseous form. But at room temperature, ranging from 25 to 40, 50, water is liquid. Water is also polar solvent, and it is called a universal solvent, is highly polar. That's why a lot of other polar solvents, they are soluble in water. This is the solubility of water. And here, if I am talking of the dehydration, I have gone through a lot of recent research publications, and I found that 75 to 80% people globally, they are dehydrated. I mean, it is a very important finding that not only in Nigeria or Africa or Asia, even in Europe and America, 75 to 80%, maybe in Maiduguri, according to that data, I doubt there may be 90% people dehydrated because of its temperature. In March and April, it goes up to 40 or more than 40 degrees centigrade temperature. So even in cold countries, people are dehydrated. Up to 75% people are dehydrated. And that dehydration is the main cause of lot of health issue, health complication. Second thing, 35 to 40% people globally, they are confused. They don't understand, they cannot identify the difference between thrust and hunger. 40% people are confused. Sometimes they are hungry and sometimes they are thirsty. And if they are thirsty, means they are dehydrated. And they are dehydrated, but they are confused that they are hungry. And that leads to serious problem. And two problems are seriously associated with dehydration. One is kidney problem. And kidney problem means if someone is dehydrated, always, regularly, is that once or twice in a month, if you are dehydrated, you can manage. But if you are dehydrated most of the time, every day you are dehydrated, then you are going to suffer first from kidney infection. Second, that is your kidney stone formation, and finally kidney failure. And that's why in Maiduguri, this year, I noticed and I delivered one lecture that why most of the people they are suffering and they are dying out of kidney failure in hot season is because of one factor, that serious or chronic dehydration is there. Then about the cancer. Now this is the latest publication about the cancer. They are mentioning in publications now, because of course cancer is having so many factors: oxidative stress, mental tension, nutritional deficiency, free radical formation, all those are there. But one factor now it is identified, that is dehydration. And it is mentioned in the paper, the authors reported, that's 80%. There is 80% chance of 75 to 80% chance of breast cancer for those who are regularly dehydrated. And there is 55% chance of colon cancer. 40% chance is bladder cancer. So now the cancers are having very strong link of dehydration. And also, one thing which is very important, when we are going to sleep, we are going to retire to bed, sometime during midnight, we get up and we feel sometimes dehydrated. And sometimes you are confused with not only thirst but hunger. So best thing is that if you take 1 glass of water before going to bed, and 1 glass of water means we can say its measurement is between 200 to 250 ml. That will take care. And when you are getting up in the morning, I am practicing that. First you take 1 glass of water, better if water is warm. I am going to deliver one lecture on the health benefit of warm water. This is I am discussing just simple water and its a health problem and complications. Now you are getting fatigue during daytime. The most of the fatigue and cloudy thinking is because of dehydration. And once you are going to class, especially to mathematics where you need lot of puzzle, lot of calculation, please take 1 glass of water, 200, 250 ml water. Only then you go to deliver the lecture. The reason is that once you are dehydrated before going to lecture, especially for mathematics, for mathematician I am saying, even for chemistry also, science, but to everybody, but mostly for mathematics people, because they need lot of stress, brain stress in calculation. Before going to lecture, take 1 glass of water, so that you will not feel cloudy in your brain and in your sharp thinking. It will not be dull, it will not be cloudy. You will be sharp in calculating everything. So these are all very, very important factors. Now, the most common factor of sickness is if someone who is having diarrhea or cholera, excessive vomiting or excessive loose motion, it can cause chronic dehydration. And there, in those two conditions of health, either chronic diarrhea or cholera, 90% people they die because of dehydration. So we have to take care of dehydration, and particularly in Borno state, Maiduguri, the mother of lot of health complication comes from dehydration. So what we discussed, I have summarized it, and I am going to again read one by one. Number one, dehydration can lead to serious complication to health. Repeated dehydration can cause kidney stone, urinary tract infection, and finally kidney failure. Number two, globally, 75 to 80% people are chronically dehydrated, whether it is Africa, Asia, or Western countries. Number three, globally, 35 to 40% of people are mistaken for thirst and hunger. And in most of the cases, actually they are thirsty, they are dehydrated, and they feel that they are hungry. So dehydration is the serious issue. Number four, mild dehydration will slow down one's metabolic process from 2 to 5%. And if somebody is chronically dehydrated, that metabolic slowdown may go up to 10-15%, and it may cause serious gastrointestinal problem or constipation. Number five, 1 glass of water. If we are measuring 1 glass of water, it will be roughly 200 to 250 ml, will shut down midnight hunger. So if you have the habit of getting up in the midnight, in that case, you just before you go to bed, you take 1 glass of water. That is midnight. Lack of water is number one reason of fatigue during daytime. So if during daytime you are tired, you are feeling fatigued, without energy, it is because of dehydration. Number six, recent research publications indicate that 8 to 10 glass of water a day could significantly ease your problem of joint pain and back pain. And even I am following that. Every day in the morning when I will get up, I will take little warm water, at least 2 glass of water, means it is roughly 400 to 500 ml. And once I will get up, I will feel lot of back pain and lot of joint pain. And once I will take 2 glass of water, believe me, within 5 minutes I will be okay. So that is, because of dehydration, it aggravates your osteoporosis or some other bone disorder, muscular pain, muscular spasm. All these problems comes when you are dehydrated. Number six, that is water and back pain up to 80%. So this joint pain and back pain, what people are suffering, and that is 80% people they suffer from that because of dehydration. Number seven, a little 2% drop in body water can trigger short-term memory. I have already mentioned this thing. And if there is some even little 2% drop of water dehydrated, it will disturb your memory, and especially when you are going for basic mathematics class, you will feel difficulty in focusing on the laptop screen or even printed material or even your handwritten note. So my advice is for mathematics people to take 1 glass of water before they go to lecture. I think you can do little, huh? So number 8 is latest research study by scholars, and they found very interesting research finding about the dehydration and its link to cancer. So here it is given, the drinking of 5 glasses of water daily decreases the high risk of breast cancer. If you are taking every day 5 glasses of water, its range is 5 to 8 glasses. If you take 5 glasses, the high risk of breast cancer is reduced up to 75 to 80%. And it is very surprising. Most of us, we don't know that dehydration is having direct link to breast cancer. 75 to 80% risk is associated with dehydration. And then colon cancer risk will be reduced by 50%, and 60% less likely to develop, that is your bladder cancer. So these cancers, they are having a strong link with dehydration. Number 9, in water there are 2 ions. One is sodium, Na positive. Second one is potassium, K positive. And they play a very important role as an electrolyte, charged particles, positively charged particles. And they are electrically charged, and they move from cell to cell, and they communicate. Communication networking is there through movement of these ions. So in water, sodium and potassium carry electrical signals, and they give electrical signals, just like internet signal, recharge signal, from cell to cell. Number 10, heat stroke or heat injury. It is due to chronic dehydration. If we are getting heat stroke, means a very bad condition. Sometimes it is dangerous and fatal. Some people, they will die in heat stroke as well as in heat injury is chronic dehydration. Number 11, low blood pressure is also due to reduction of the blood volume because of dehydration. If you have less amount of water, you are dehydrated, the volume will be reduced, and once volume is reduced, there will be low blood pressure, and low blood pressure can be fatal, can be very dangerous. People even die in that condition. And this volume reduction may cause serious health problem. Number 12, how dehydration happens mostly. What are the common causes of dehydration? Number 1, excessive vomiting or diarrhea. If someone is having excessive vomiting, maybe once he is having cholera, or if somebody is having excessive loose motion, it means he is having diarrhea. That is very serious issue of dehydration. Number 2, extensive physical exercise. Sometimes people, they go to gym and they do exercise for 1 hour, 2 hours, and lot of sweating is there, and they don't care, and they take sometimes sugary soft drink, and which contains 70 to 80 gram per 600 ml, and rather than to hydrate, that sugar is going to dehydrate. And that is also one of the reasons that many people are dehydrated, and some casualties are there because of that reason. And then number 3, that is hot or cold weather. In both conditions we are dehydrated. In Maiduguri, we are dehydrated because of heat, because of high temperature. In America and Europe, once it is frozen temperature, again we are dehydrated because we are not sweating, so we are not taking 5 glasses of water because we don't feel thirsty because of minus temperature. That is also one condition of dehydration. So with this I will stop. And really, I always used to say the best medicine for us first is water. Second, I always say the mother of all complication of health condition